Set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, the limited series Obi-Wan Kenobi follows the titular Jedi, Ewan McGregor, as he leaves his secluded life on Tatooine to rescue Princess Leia, Vivian Lyra Blair, from the Empire's Inquisitors and bring her safely back home to Alderaan. Leia and Obi-Wan's journey together has not been an easy one, with Darth Vader, Hayden Christensen, James Earl Jones, and the Empire growing closer in each episode. Leading up to the finale, Obi-Wan and Leia find themselves on Jabiim, a planet used by smugglers to help Jedi, Force-sensitive children, and enemies of the Empire escape and start a new life. Obi-Wan has rescued Leia from the Inquisitors' fortress, and they are preparing to leave for Alderaan on a transport with other refugees. Unfortunately, Inquisitor Reva, Moses Ingram, has followed them to Jabiim thanks to a tracker hidden inside of Leia's droid L0LA. A standoff ensues as Obi-Wan and the Resistance try to hold off Reva and the stormtroopers long enough to give the transport time to escape. In trying to negotiate with Reva, Obi-Wan learns that she was a youngling in the Jedi Temple during Order 66. She became an Inquisitor to get close to Vader and get revenge for the friends and life she lost thanks to him in the Empire. Obi-Wan convinces her to make her move while Vader is distracted by the prospect of his own revenge so that the transport has time to escape. Reva and Vader duel briefly before he impales her with his lightsaber and leaves her for dead. The finale picks up right after this moment. The transport is trying to evade fire from the Empire's destroyer, but can't flee into hyperspace until their drive is repaired. Obi-Wan decides to lure Vader away from the families on board, and tasks Saja Yustri, Kumail Nanjiani, with returning Leia safely to Alderaan. Leia is upset, given how close the two have grown in their short time together, but ultimately understands that he has to do it. Obi-Wan leaves in a dropship and Vader commands the destroyer to follow him against the advice of the Grand Inquisitor, Rupert Friend. Vader meets Obi-Wan on the surface of a nearby deserted planet, and the former friends duel once again. At first, Obi-Wan is once again bested by his former Padawan. Vader buries him under a pile of boulders and leaves him for dead. However, Obi-Wan remembers his duty to protect Luke and Leia and finds the strength to break free. He confronts Vader once again, destroying his suit in the process. Vader's helmet breaks, and Obi-Wan finally gets to look his old friend in the eye. He hopes that his friend is still in there, under all of Vader's rage and hatred, but Vader makes it clear that Anakin Skywalker is long gone. Meanwhile, Reva has made her way to Tatooine after finding part of Bail Organa's, Jimmy Smits's, message to Obi-Wan on Jabiim. She can sense that Luke, Grant Feely, is connected to Vader somehow, and goes after him for one last chance at revenge. Beru, Bonnie Peace, and Owen, Joe Legerton, do their best to hold Reva back when she attacks their farm, but she is able to escape them and catches up to Luke in the desert. Reva goes to strike him with her lightsaber but hesitates. She sees herself in him, and can't bring herself to continue down this path of rage and vengeance after failing to kill Vader. Reva brings him back to Beru and Owen, who have now been joined by Obi-Wan. She collapses in the sand, tired from almost dying at the hands of Vader and worried that she lost her chance to avenge her friends from childhood. Obi-Wan helps her see that she can still honor their memory by choosing her own path forward instead of letting rage continue to guide her. She leaves her lightsaber behind and decides to forge a new path for herself. Before settling back into life on Tatooine, Obi-Wan pays Leia a visit on Alderaan. She had slipped L0 Law into his cloak, so he wouldn't be lonely, and it's the perfect excuse for him to check in and say one more goodbye. Without mentioning their names, Obi-Wan tells her how much she reminds him of her parents, Padme and Anakin. They share a hug and a heartfelt moment before she asks if she'll ever see him again, to which Obi-Wan replies, "Someday, if you ever need help from a tired, old man." Obi-Wan then returns to Tatooine, presumably for good this time, although actors Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen are open to returning for another season. He packs up his cave and heads out into the desert, stopping to tell Owen that he's moving further away to let him and Beru give Luke a normal childhood. Owen lets Obi-Wan meet Luke before he leaves, and he gives the boy the model fighter parts he bought for him in the first episode. As Obi-Wan rides off into the deserts of Tatooine, he is finally visited by the Force ghost of his former master, Qui Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson. Obi-Wan has been trying to contact him for guidance throughout the season without success. Qui Gon tells Obi-Wan that he has always been there, Obi-Wan just wasn't ready to see him yet. They go off into the desert together, with Qui Gon saying they have a lot of work to do. This ending wraps up the events of the season while still leaving things open for a return to this story and its characters. It works great if the show moves forward with another season or if this is the last time we see Obi-Wan before A New Hope.